All right, so I'm going to act like I am on and working. So thank you all for attending. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the process of transmission that happens between the higher angelic qualities that exist and the what we see as a mundane situation. Yeah, the earth. Yeah, whatever situation it is. But there's another influencing, embodying nature that influences the quality of behavior in people. There's a bad angel, there's a good angel. Yeah. And that influence comes from an angelic quality that's inherent. Yeah. What?
Everything is good online.
Oh, I see. How's that? No. Yay. We got working now. Can you hear me now? Yeah, there you go. Okay, so the angelic aspects are parts of a reality that does exist, but it's not one that people are influenced by directly. Yeah, so it really is more of a mythology or an ideology or a philosophy or religion. Yeah, it's nothing that we have been able to scientifically prove. Yeah, angelic presence, whether or not there is such a kingdom of angels, whether or not such a reality of existence even has a coexistence with humanity, and could humanity be those angels? Yeah, and the working out of that integration is the process of the planet's healing. Yeah. So it really is an energetic, angelic integration, and it's not one that anybody really is like sitting around and doing an invocation or reading a specific anything to lead to this outcome. Yeah, because it's bigger than you can imagine. Yeah, it is an unveiling of a lie that allows the truth to be experienced. Yeah. And when the darker angel is constantly inhibiting you, yeah, then you can't know you. Yeah, so it's just something that is there. It's just a fact that we don't know that exists yet. Yeah. But as Buddha, as Christ, yeah, the work that I do is to fix that. Yeah. Solve that problem. Yeah. And it is a solvable problem just simply by my consistent reincarnation. Yeah, the awakening of what it is that people are going to awaken to is reincarnation. Yeah, their recapitulation. Yeah, and it goes back to God. It doesn't start with a fall. It doesn't start with or end with an apocalypse. Yeah, it has a completely other view, completely other existing reality that goes on. Yeah, and when reincarnation, the telepathic view that comes in, it's not that you remember your past life, you remember that you did this in the past life or anything like that, but it allows you to receive the vision inside of yourself that is impressed by the Lord. And that impression allows people to increase their ability to fix the problem that exists. Let's say we look out the world today and we go, wow, what a heck of a lot of pollution we got going on, Well, could that be because we have too many people? Yeah. We're growing at an exponential rate beyond your wildest existence because we have a devil may care attitude. Yeah. And we just pop them out like they're nothing. Yeah. And we blame our religion. Yeah. Or we blame our wife. Yeah. For getting us into this mess. Yeah. Yeah. It's just everybody blames everybody, but they keep coming and they come in droves. Yeah. They fill up the schools. There are so many. They're coming by tens of thousands from all around the world as people who are immigrants because there's too many people. Yeah. It's not because things have changed. It's because there's too many of them. In other countries, that isn't happening because they slowed down the population growth. Yeah, it's not happening in China. Nobody's immigrating anywhere. You can hardly get them to move around. Yeah, because there's a lot of them, but there's a lot of land, and there's far fewer in number in relationship the growth level that's going on in the rest of the world. Yeah, if you go to Japan, you have a good chance of sleeping in a box that's a 3 by 3 by 6 box. Yeah, you have a really good chance of reincarnating, and that's your future if you continue living in Japan. Yeah, unless you're a billionaire, you can skip it. Yeah, there are people in Hong Kong where they're doing the same thing. They're living in boxes, little tiny cubicles. What used to be a hallway is now turned into boxes of apartments where 12 people can sleep in a hallway. That used to be a hallway. Yeah, they're using that for living arrangements. Yeah, people who are in service, maid service, they live in people's homes, so they're actually homeless. They're homeless. So on their one day off, they have no home to go to on their break. They get their boxes, they put them on the ground, and they all gather together and sit on boxes. And that's their holiday. Serious. This is in Hong Kong, one of the most wealthiest, most developed countries in the world. But yet this is how people in the service live, because there's no homes for people who do have an income, let alone for people who, live in service. And they accept it. When you go up to them and you talk to these tens of thousands of women who are sitting on the ground on Sunday, yeah, they're all over the ground. Yeah, they're all sitting there on boxes. Yeah, you go up to them and you ask what you're doing, and they're all happy as could be because this is their day off, and they're lounging with each other. And it's the only cool place they got because there's no big parks, no place for them to hang out. Yeah. So literally, they're okay about it. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. People can survive on eating boxes, let alone living on boxes. It's true. It happens every day. Yeah. And that ain't supposed to happen. And the reason why it's mainly happening is because we got too many people. Yeah. And in the future, we won't have too many people. We'll have a much more evolved group of incarnations of people who will not have the same devotion to the fanatical habits of a religion or a commitment to some idiot who has to have 6 kids, to fulfill some dream, that grandma had or grandpa had or family tree. Yeah. Those kind of influences, having to live in the same place where, bad weather comes every year and you can't get your 6th ray to realize I ought to move. Yeah. It happens all the time. Yeah. And that's the same influence of that incarnation of fanaticism. And once this is healed, then when we reincarnate, we come back with a completely different game plan. Yeah? We're not 6th ray. We're not living the dream. Yeah? We're not thinking it's a dream. Yeah? It's not a selfish dream anymore. Yeah? It's reality. Yeah? We need to moderate ourselves. We need to live frugally. Yeah? We need to live kindly. Yeah? We need to not accept this multi-billion-dollar process of us going up higher and higher and higher to the point where $100 is $100,000 in value. We can't go there. Yeah? And that attitude inside the babies, inside the children, inside the new incarnations that will be coming through, they just simply will live in tiny houses. which they're doing now. And it's not that they're crazy, it's that it's their future. And it's not that, they're going to be ready to live in those 3x3 cubicles in Japan, but they're making a point of living in the middle. Yeah. A lot less fanatic. Yeah. And if it doesn't work out, they can expand a bit. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the way it's going to roll. The people of the whole earth is going to move in that direction. And all those old buildings and places, those cubicles that people used to live, rot. Yeah. Nobody is devalued to live in there anymore, and they're ripped down. Yeah. Because we don't need that hundreds of thousands of rooms to board people for slavery. Yeah. To keep the economics the way it goes. Yeah. That's 100% is what's going to change. Is the process of our illusion and our delusion behind that sixth ray. We have no idea all the suffering in the world, and we can't even see all the suffering in the world. Yeah, yeah. If at best you might see in the History Channel, they're living in small little places in Japan, and they never get to go home and see their children, and the husbands never see their children, but at least the wives are hanging out on the farm. A fish farm or something. That's usually the thought of people if they have any real understanding of Japan or other countries. But it's worse than that. Yeah, hardly anybody's left on the farm anymore. Yeah, everybody's got to go get money. There's no place for anybody. Yeah, and that is happening intensely. And there's only one reason for it, and that's overpopulation, and that's the sixth ray. And the influence of overpopulation is built on a great big greedy process of not moving people toward living in a moderation of life, but moving people toward, living in poverty, but watching football players make $1 billion and have a duality of your existence tearing you apart. You got to buy certain tennis shoes, you got to wear certain clothes, you got to change your fad, you got all the games. Yeah, who can afford that? Yeah, even on TV, who can afford to pay that monthly rate to maintain your fanatical understanding of the ongoing game so you can have a conversation with your friends? Yeah, it's pretty strange. It's a waste of soul. Yeah, and your soul is the economy. Yeah, everything. It's ecology, it's economy, it's how we deal with money. As an Indian, we do something that's trade. We have wampum. Yeah, and wampum is a sacred item. It's something we make, and we make it in a sacred way. So we use that as trade. Yeah, and we can get an axe, or we can get a frying pan, or things that we don't make. Yeah, but we use value in our heart in relationship to trade. And if we haven't got wampum, then we trade a frying pan for a knife. Yeah, so it's trade. It's not about money. When things are done like that, it's always fair. Yeah, yeah. You're getting something for what you need, and they're getting something for what they need. Yeah, and your relationships, you're dealing with people like that. Yeah, but the whole process of that is an evolution that humanity will move back to when we are people that live our life making a trade. Yeah. And then we will have an equal value in the trade that we're giving and that which we're receiving back. A plumber, a contractor that can build your house, they got to need shoes. And all their family's got to need shoes. I'll make shoes for you and everybody you know for 10 years if you build my house. That I believe that is where people go. And it's not a utopian process. It's just common sense, and it's the fact that we do actually have a trade. Just like a minister has a trade. Yeah, few people seek God. Few people are moved by God. There is a calling. Yeah. So in that process, those ministers, when they truly are in a calling, they really are in a process to where they have no other means than to bring people together and create an ambitious movement toward growing in spirituality. But that means that, you know, there's no reality toward making money, having a job anymore, because your trade is now, you can only trade, what you have. And in higher trade, it's ministry. Yeah. And other things you trade. Yeah. So in the process of spirituality and the relationship of angelic reality, it has everything to do with materiality. When we move in the future, when we move and live in smaller houses and we deal with that, well, I never thought I'd see myself in a small house. How come? No, never thought that, But as things move along in this period of time, we start getting the moderation that we're needing, and yet we're not asking for it. And it starts coming our way. It pushes us into a place in which we move and have opportunities to live more in moderation. Yeah. And those are the changes of reincarnation. Everything that's happening to us today is the building blocks for things that will take place in the future. Yeah. So all the opportunities that we're having now are bits and parts and pieces of things that are going to be connected to our future lives. Yeah. So everything we begin to accept, having more faith in your real reality that's happening today. Yeah. And seeing it, and I'm not missing out on anything or anything like that. But see it as, this is my place. This is how the trade works. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. And as we move with that process, just having a good attitude about what goes on in a day, then we move our future into the process of a collective body of people, willing to have those conscious thoughts and attitudes and fellowship and things like that. That is something that we, as a whole, we can't experience because there's people like Michael Jackson and all these other people that aren't coming back. Yeah. We are. Yeah. So when they talked about Jesus coming, it's not about an apocalypse, the end of time, but it is about the end of evil, the end of lunar lords. Yeah. And when those are reduced, your knee-jerk response to, in a sixth ray way, to respond to their life as though it's okie dokie, because they say it's okie dokie. Yeah. And it's not okie dokie. Yeah. And there's a whole lot that goes on for a long time in corruption on this planet. And in the process of it, it always says it's okie dokie. Yeah. 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 Enron, oh, everything's great. Yeah. We're going for all the electricity. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry. We're taking care of everybody. Whew. They go off like dust and billions of dollars are lost. People lose their homes, their lives, everything. That's one corrupt scenario. There were thousands of them over the last 10 years. 10 years before that, there were more. Yeah. The wheel of corruption is overwhelming, and we're only now coming to grips with what that really is, and it's getting cleaned up. Yeah. It's not being fostered. It's not being, even the corruption of, take over, people that are dictators. Yeah. And, all the processes of what they do and why they do and the reasons why companies or governments or people allow it to take place. It's a sixth ray thing. Totally. Yeah. And what they need is a heart. And if they have a heart, they stand up for the collective body of what's going to happen in the future. And no matter how hard they lie, it hits you like a ton of bricks. And you simply can't cooperate with it. And that's the future. Yeah. because there's fewer and fewer lunar lords moving humanity. I mean, I'm talking tens of thousands dropping like flies, and they don't come back. Yeah, because that's the process of this healing. When there's more angelic energy coming into the earth, the more dark angelic energy leaves the earth. And that could be a very small number in relationship to all of humanity. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah? So it's not like we got to work it out somehow, you know? Let them come, put them in prison, hopefully they'll be a better person life after life after life. God doesn't think like that. Yeah? God supports the truth and allows the influence of the truth to work within the tree of life. And we see this in reincarnation. We see this in the manifestation of an avatar or the incarnation of saints who other saints are able to recognize and live near and cooperate in really large collective ways to change the policy of a bad nation or the policy of people. All done in a thought form building way. And that's all angelic influences. You can't see them, you can't verify them, but they exist. Yeah. So the invocation of, when we do the invocation of I invoke the power, the love, the wisdom, we're invoking the power, the love, the wisdom of the higher angelic reality. Yeah. And that heals the etheric field, and that heals the process of the plan. Yeah. And it's that plan that changes our process of building in numbers. Yeah, because this is like Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk thinks we're going to grow like crazy in numbers. Yeah, and we got to like hurry up and get to another planet. Yeah, because we're either going to be overpopulated or we're going to be destroyed. Yeah, but for whatever reason, we got to get to Mars. Yeah, but we can't see the truth. Yeah, our sixth ray goes, oh, okay, yeah, Elon, go, let's do this. Even astronauts are going, okay, yeah, I'll jump on board and I'll get on board that ship with you. Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, any person who gets on board that ship and heads toward Mars is dying. Dying. They will die. Unquestionable, and it'll be a horrifying death. Yeah, their bones would fall apart. Yeah, their heart would totally dysfunction. Yeah, radiation will pass through their body for years. Yeah, completely destroying their immune system. And if they get a cold, they're dead, let alone anything else. Yeah, the one guy who spent over a year in space is dying, and he has no way out of it. There is no healing. There is no nothing. Yeah, and this is well known. But yet Elon Musk says, well, I'm just going to build a regular spaceship and we're all just going to sit and we're all going to float around for a year and a half and go to Mars and half float, kind of like walk around. Yeah. Yeah. As though we're going to exist. Anybody's going to exist. No one's going to exist. It's a death march. Yeah. And even if they follow the direction of a proper spaceship, which is one that goes in a wheel that creates a gravitational force on the outside of the wheel, and you travel that through like 2001: A Space Odyssey. What's the sense of it? Yeah? You go to Mars, build a colony. What are you going to do, terraform? What do you got, 5 million years to hang out and create oxygen on a large planet? Yeah? And terraform? You're going to live in a greenhouse forever. And you're going to mutate. And you're going to die. Yeah? It's not just a bad idea. It is another idea like Hitler. Yeah? There is no triggering effect. No conscious heart. Yeah? This has been going on in me since I was a kid. I've been helping in this space program for a long time. And by now I thought all this would be worked out. But we still got these people that are so energetically sixth ray in their fanatic response, that they'll do what is wrong. And a lot of people will fall through it, and come through the other side, as a really bad, oh yeah, I remember the Elon Musk process in Mars in 2250, when we're thinking about that, going, wow, yeah, that was, thanks for the electric car, man, but that Mars thing, a lot of people died on that. Good thing he got there before Amazon, and all the other programs, Hilton on the moon, and space, floating hotels in space, and really, all these things are going on, and all these things are not really part of the future aspects of humanity's ability to have telepathy and know, what is not a wasted path and what is a proper path with the amount of money and the energy that you have on a planet to give the planet what it needs to sustain it as empathetic and a compassionate mankind. Rather than, it's okay to go to war, it's okay to go to this, it's okay to do this, but yet there's all of this going on. So it really does require the healing of that sixth ray. And if you look at this, it's interesting because the healthy, unhealthy aspects looks like two pyramids. One up, one down. And the process of the earth is the same. You just don't see the other pyramid going down. But it's exactly that. Does that make sense? Do you see it? Okay? That is that. So the earth has in it the divine ratio, and so does a human being, and so does everything, has a divine ratio. It's a harmonic response. That harmonic response has to do with whether or not these chakras, or the elements that are manifested on the earth, are actually resonating in the way that they were expressed. If we touch in on gold, we get a resonance, a vibration. And its qualities is very rare. It's, people love it. It's moldable. You could take one strand of gold, or 1 ounce of gold, and go 33 miles. That's a heck of a long ways. With a strand out of 1 ounce. You can't do that with anything else. The amount of elemental reality inside our planet, that's connected to the human nature of ourselves, is divine. So the imbalance is in the relationship to the elements. And we have gold being hoarded everywhere. We have diamonds being hoarded everywhere. We have elements that are focused on being hoarded, being held. And the earth being, gold and oil and all kinds of things going on. Well, those are all elements. And every one of those elements have a relationship to whether or not we are allowing the vibration of an angelic frequency to resonate, or are we allowing the imperil that comes from taking those elements hidden. People not knowing that there's slavery going on to get those diamonds. People not knowing that people are dying from the oil fields and everything that's going on. People not knowing that all the elements that are being pulled out, there's an enormous bad karma and imperil that had to carry on in order to have that take place. So what we cherish in this one area, in this other area of hell, this area where the fallen angels exist, they hold the minerals, and they have their everything. I mean, look at the temples of India, they're made of gold, and look at the poverty of India. How can you have so much gold and not feed the children? Something's really wrong. How can you have the largest diamond on earth and not feed the children? and yet you're India. Yeah? Because they're lunar lords, those people who built those things. Yeah? They were Maharajas, or they were this or that, and they thought that they were gods. Yeah? And they were lunar lords, and they keep coming back. Yeah? That influence of all those minerals and everything that has been taken has been imperiled. And all those things, those minerals and everything, is what it is I bless. Yeah? I make this pyramid. I send out simple little etheric weavers, which is a mineral, part of that group. Yeah? It connects into all the group of all the minerals. Pure white light. Yeah? Talks to all of them. The whole planet, every mineral on Earth. That includes the good guys and the bad guys. Yeah? Wherever it's at. And it blesses them. And it blesses the Earth. Yeah? And there's no way you can stop it, because it's part of a harmonic resonance with minerals. When you build a pyramid and you work with crystals and you do this kind of work, yeah, it has very strong effect on that energetic field. Well, it's the same thing in the imperil side. They have a very big effect on your energetic field, on your etheric field. How come you can't heal your etheric body? Yeah, it's because of the minerals you have in your body are made impure. So prasadam is the only cure to this whole thing. Yeah, because all the food is made of the minerals, and that's God's offering. Yeah, yeah. Does that make sense? So if we go really simple, no matter what we're eating, and we take it really truly, as prasadam, and we make sure that it is the healthiest thing we can have, the thing that we really truly want, and it keeps moving in that direction, because your higher mind is the ability to make things change into divinity. It fights off those evil imperils that are found in minerals that can get stuck in people not even caring about food. So we have fast food everywhere, we have junk food, we have candy bars of every kind, and people don't think a thing of it. Yeah? That's because the minerals are imperiled. We are not seeking the minerals. We're not seeking the purity. If we were able to actually be in tune with that, we'd find that we need far less food. Yeah? Because the minerals are in us already. We just need to bless the food. Does that make sense? Yeah? Because we're the transmission. Yeah? And that's why I was saying, this is all about transmission. Yeah? And the importance of the angelic transmission. Yeah? The only way to change all that stuff, how many, too many people on the planet and all this kind of stuff. Oh yeah, it is what it is. But how do we change that? We change it through prasadam. Yeah? And that's the only way in which everything is manifested into change. Yeah? So when we do the invocation, evocation, we're actually invoking into the etheric field, so that in our plan, in our daily life, if we have ceremony and we have an understanding of spirituality, we're using the tools, we're listening to my music, then it increases our ability to have thought form building in our higher mind, rather than negative downward spiraling, ineffective thinking that goes on in the lower mind, which is down here in your gut. Yeah? And it's not about, let's fix the gut, but let's fix the head. Yeah? Does that make sense? Because this one's actually where the angels are at, and this is where the demons are at. Does that make sense? And these are going to kill us. Yeah? So we need to give blessings to the food that we eat, so we can take out those negative lower thoughts. Yeah? All that shit. Yeah? And it just turns it into a vibration that allows people to let go of the external greed that they have, and they don't need, they can be greedy, but they don't need to have a lot of money to be greedy. Yeah, they don't need to hoard and have diamonds all around their body to be greedy. All they got to do is not support another person's soul. Yeah, and that's being greedy. in some subtle way. So it doesn't matter whether it's money or it's this or it's that, It's all about whether or not we have prasadam, yeah? And if we seek that, yeah, then we'll find out whatever it is that's keeping us from having that prasadam, yeah? And we'll help it from being not around us, yeah? And then prasadam will come our way. Does that make sense? Yeah? Because there's discernment, discrimination, there's good angels, there's bad angels. You gotta have discernment and discrimination to be able to clarify your position on prasadam. You can't go to a restaurant, the people are bad, mean, icky, yeah? You go in, you immediately turn right around, walk out. And most of the time, because you're prasadam, you're led to the holiest places, and it's all by surprise. Yeah? You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? Yeah? And that's what sets the motion for our future. And it sets the motion for everybody in their relationship to have telepathy and change their connection to these lunar lords as they're leaving and regain their true ability to discern, discriminate, no matter how much pain they've been through, whether it's PTSD or, bad relationships or circumstances of any kind. All those things could be healed, yeah, in a lifetime, yeah, if all of us do our best to appreciate and understand what I'm saying about prasadam, because it's all elemental, it's magic, yeah. There is evil out there. You're not the evil, yeah. And the more you enjoy the fact that you are not the evil, yeah, yeah, and it really is a part of these lunar lords that are being caught, yeah. And if you see the Michael Jackson reality, see the reality of the fact that there's a lot of people now free to receive the Lord, yeah, because you have faith in a dark force, evil being. You're never going to have a relationship with the Lord, ever. So it's really important to have these people leave the planet and on their way out, have the planet recognize what was really there. Yeah? And that is what clears us and allows us to have this spontaneous relationship to prasadam and food. Because food is the most important thing. That's why there's so many people starving and living in little hovels of holes. Yeah? Simply because we do not have the understanding of prasadam. How important it is to know how to receive and how to give. That's all prasadam is. Yeah? If you're an asshole giving, you're receiving really bad shit. Yeah? And that's not right. It's not right. So it's always about, if understanding prasadam, you do the best you possibly can to make sure you are in service, making sure that who's ever receiving is receiving what they want. Yeah? Does that make sense? And that allows prasadam to take place, and intuition and telepathy take place, rather than the assumption you know what this person wants. And that way, that person never has the freedom to experience themselves. And that's all I'm asking for, is for people to have that freedom. Yeah? Does that make sense? Because it's all in the elements. We just don't know that it's in those elements. All right? So let's do the invocation. I'm going to do angelic pujas. Yeah, see, I think that's one. Yeah, I call upon all the angels and the angels of heaven. Nice. So just to finish what I was saying, the main thing is to to recognize the fact that this isn't about people making choices to change themselves to make things better. Yeah, this isn't a myopic thing. It's a big thing. Yeah, and the Lord is making things better, and those things are going to change inside you. Yeah, so I'm just telling you about the process of the change. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, and the influence of that change is influenced inside you by your recognizing prasadam. Yeah, because whether you see it or not, it's getting better. So how you see it, how fast you see it better, is how you see prasadam. Yeah, because it's just a connection between you and the elements. It's like, can you talk to animals? Can you talk to anything outside yourself? Well, my question is, can you talk to an element? That's pretty small. I'm not asking for you to talk to a mosquito. Yeah, that's a good chance you might be able to. Yeah. But how about, can you talk to an element? Yeah. And to do that, you really have to have discernment and discrimination. You have to live the middle way. Yeah. Because that's how elements are created. They don't have a way of creating separation. They are what they are, and they always will be what they are. Yeah. And that's a law within that that's in everything. Yeah. And elements gives us that support. We cannot be imperiled because we're always made divine. We are exactly the way we were when we were created, just like elements. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. So the elements are important. They give us back our recognition. Yeah. Does that make sense? So it's important. Prasadam. Yeah. Cool. That's Hawaii for yay. Okay. Take a deep breath. Okay, just repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad to guide me into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. So there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ, to serve the One. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. a deep breath.
The archangels in heaven.
Okay, just relax. Okay, you can open your eyes. So, two main teachers of prasadam was Jesus and Buddha, and they taught prasadam in a way that everybody else kind of figured, what's going on with these two guys? Yeah, because their means of prasadam was that Jesus ate with people and he ate what they served. So he didn't say, "Oh, sorry, no meat. Nope, sorry. Don't eat those things. Don't eat animals. All that la 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 la." Then go on and on. Yeah, no, never said anything like that. Yeah, he said, "Thank you. Oh, delicious. Enjoy." Yeah, because it was about breaking bread. Yeah, this is my body. Yeah, no matter what you eat, this is my body. Appreciate it. Yeah, don't overeat it. Yeah, the shelter that you have, provided by God, appreciate it. Don't abuse it. Yeah, all those things were the teachings that Jesus gave, and how to create fellowship, how to calm down bias, how to calm down all this stuff that was actually taught by delusions of fanaticism. You shouldn't do this, you can't do that. If you're pure, you can't do these things. All these different things that, if you're really spiritual and truly Jesus or Buddha, then those obstacles, wouldn't be obstacles for them. They would be their teaching. So their teaching, and like in Jesus's case, it was focused upon the Last Supper, prasadam. And many churches take that as a real thing, break bread, eat the bread, drink the wine, drink the blood, take in the body of Christ and assume the vibration of Christ. Don't deny it. Take fellowship. Receive what has been given. All of everything. That's been given. So the influence of prasadam is both in relationship of Jesus and Buddha. In Buddha, a lot of people who are Buddhists, they go, "Well, we're all vegetarian. All Buddhists are vegetarian." But that's not true. Buddha wasn't vegetarian. Maybe you're vegetarian, but Buddha wasn't vegetarian. He ate what was given, and then he passed it out openly, sharingly, amongst others who didn't have food. And they ate what they had, but they didn't turn things away. He taught about cleanliness and hygiene. If you see flies everywhere and old meat, turn it away. Say the reason why. These are teachings. These, raise yourself up to a better understanding. You can't have flies around old dead meat and chop it up and give it to people. But that was happening. So that was more his teaching rather than saying be vegetarian. Be discerning. Question what's in front of you. Question what's being said to you. Be discerning. Clarify what's going on. So that prasadam could actually, all things, even things that have no intention of being holy, can turn to holy. As long as the person who's at the center point, someone makes it holy. Yeah. And that was the purpose of Buddhism, was to turn not poverty into holiness and, or anything like that, but to turn prasadam into holiness, so that caring and sharing would be the attitude of the Buddhist. And the food that you receive in the process of people giving food that they make. You go to one house, they're making fish. You go to another house, they have rice. Another house, they have all these other things. Yeah. And you help to pass that on to make sure no one goes hungry. And that was Buddha. Yeah. Now, if you study the teachings of Jesus, he did exactly the same thing. And they said, he had made hundreds of loaves of bread. The story was a lie. Truth is that he helped people share. And where there was very little and everybody said we don't have enough, come to find out with a little sharing and caring, we had plenty. Yeah. And it was in one side, people turned it out to be, a miracle. But in the truth, it was prasadam. Yeah. And it was an action of getting people to do the right thing. Yeah. And so there's the process of prasadam is the main teaching of all teaching, whether it be Jesus or Buddha. Yeah. And how we receive prasadam is our intuition and our telepathy. So we have to make sure we're in Buddhism, we call it being a practitioner. We don't take a vacation. We don't live on delusionary merit as though we have some. There is no such thing because we give it away. The moment you got it, you give it. How can you hold on to it? You can't. So it's just the way it is. When in the materialistic world you think you can, but in the real spiritual world you can't. It is what it is, and you're a blessing, and you love it flowing through you. And no matter how little you have to give, you're thankful for what you have to give. Yeah, does that make sense? And that makes prasadam. Yeah, and that's a conscious state of being. And when we reach that on a large scale, just on normal conscious state of being, we make those same decisions when we go buy groceries. We make the same decision when we do anything. We make it with loving wisdom, rather than making it from our gut. Our gut would tell us, knee-jerk reactions, eat sugar. Knee-jerk reactions, don't do it. When you should be doing it. Yeah, your gut always keeps you from doing what you're supposed to be doing. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. So it's in the heart and above. Everything works. Yeah. Everything is intuition. Everything is telepathy. Everything is psychicism. Yeah. So how we deal with the influence of just the radiatory influence of realizing that we're more angelic than what we think we are. Imagine in all the pujas that I do, my process is to raise you up, without you having to die, and have you touch heaven. In soul therapy, you do touch heaven. You go into heaven. Yeah. But when you're just walking around awake and everything, it's hard to keep people in heaven. Yeah. But that's my job. My job is to close the gap between heaven and your delusionary no heaven whatsoever. Yeah. And help you slowly but surely reach that place to where you're actually walking around in that essence, and you're just a flicker away from the influence of miraculous influences that you have to give and other people have to give, but you have to be friendly in order to have it happen for everybody. Because angels are friendly. Does that make sense? And angels aren't pessimistic. They don't think negative thoughts about anybody because they see above it. They see, oh shit, they're full of shit. They can't help it. Yeah? Yeah? And it leaves you from being pessimistic and negative. You just go full of shit, that's it, let go, bomb, I'm on my way. Yeah? That's how angels deal with it. Yeah? And then they check it out maybe a little later, but they don't have any expectation of change. Does that make sense? Angels don't do that. People do. Yeah? Yeah. Angels are an influence of our higher self. And if we express that, then that's what that is. Yeah. But if it's not in that case, then our process is to be blessed by this influence that's going on Earth and move the energy from the solar plex to the heart, up into the heart. Yeah. And it takes away everything that is all these messed up chakras that are coming from, people like the Dalai Lama or Michael Jackson. Those people have chakras. They're magicians. Yeah, they're evil witch doctors and warlocks and stuff like that. They're not walking around just wanting money. Yeah, they have extreme powers of ability to keep you from seeing what they're doing. Yeah, and realize their actions and see them from the past. Yeah, making sure that the spell is still on you. Yeah, does that make sense? So it's really important that when you're doing process toward understanding, the prasadam, you have to understand it's mainly based on words. Yeah, it's releasing a spell. Yeah, receiving a blessing releases a spell. So the more quieter you are in relationship to eating your food, the more you are appreciating, this is hot, this is delicious, this is on time. Would I make this any different? Like I ask all my Sangha. I ask you that because I want you to think that. Yeah, it's important. Yeah, because you should do it that way. Others should do it this way. Yeah, so we just have compassion and empathy, and we care. Yeah, and if we build that, we actually build a relationship to the essence of our heart center. Yeah, and that changes dramatically an influence that goes on in our solar plex, and we have no idea is happening. Yeah. So not just in the relationship of food, but in the relationship of anything whatsoever. So it's healing spell-binding effects. That's why it's so important to watch words of negativity or thoughts of negativity that then come into words of negativity. Yeah, they build. They're connected to a spell, and you're not creating the spell. It's like on a record, and you just have it in you. So when it comes up, all of a sudden the record comes up, and it goes on the same track and says the same thing. Does that make sense? Yeah. These are the things I'm saying are in your gut. Yeah. They're demons. There are more numbers there than there are the angels that wake up here. And this is Buddhism. It teaches about it firsthand to all the students that there are so many demons in your body and there's so many angels in your body. And your important fact of life is that you need to change the transmission between your relationship to the demons to transmission to the angels. Yeah. And that's always done through prasadam. Yeah, so just me saying the words is one thing. By saying it, I'm helping to reduce spell binding because prasadam's not said in the Dark Lodge. Yeah, it's a confusing thought form. What did he mean by that anyway? Does that make sense? It's really not something in our language. It's not something in our lower gut. Yeah, because everything we've got down there hasn't got that prasadam. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, it's important because we move everything upwardly like this. And it's in the positive spark of being able to receive, which is a very relaxing scenario. Yeah. Like when you sit down to eat, you just go, great. Taste looks great. All these senses come into action. And that's where prasadam comes in. You're not only just feeding yourself, but an alchemical reality of many different things begin going on. And you get to trigger those things through your senses and through your body and everything. Yeah. So it's an opportunity of ceremonial magic for you to do something without having to make an offering of, you gotta, oh no, I'm eating meat, oh no, I gotta think, oh, thank God, for the offering of that cow, Does that make sense? Because in the lower mind, we think offerings in that way. But in the higher mind, we think offerings that God is offering us. Does that make sense? We don't have to kill a sheep and thank God for and offer the sheep to God. Does that make sense? Feel guilty about eating meat because God's offering it to us. Does that make sense? That's prasadam. Okay, that's it. Thank you.